This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. We reversed everything this week, Damon. It's early morning for me and evening for you. You got a cold beer in your hand, I understand.
I just had a swig. Delicious. Strawberry wheat. Very good. Not gonna lie. It is a definite different. It was weird because even today I was like, well, I gotta wake up in the morning and record. No, I'm recording this afternoon. So a little bit different. How are you making out with that? We were talking a little bit off the air before we hit record, but do you like the reversal?
I do like it because when I record in the evening, first of all, it's because of the lockdown situation here, it's absolute chaos because I can hear Mally and Esther outside and I feel really guilty. I feel like I need to rush everything. And also preparing for the podcast and watching everything I need to watch, collating all the questions, getting my notes ready, takes up like most of the afternoon.
Right.
So by doing it like this, I can just do everything after Esther's gone to sleep, get everything ready, go to bed, and then you know what? This morning the alarm didn't wake me up. I woke up by myself.
Oh, you were so excited.
I was. Yeah.
Wow. Not a lot going on in the Abraham household, is there?
Absolutely fuck all, mate. I keep a blog. I've kept a blog since 2016 when I moved over to China.
Wow.
And it's semi-private. It's only for my parents and my sister.
Can I have access?
No, you can't. Just because I wanted to give them, keep them updated with what's going on in my life. But I've just kept it going for some reason, and I don't know why. I really should stop because, like the last few months, it's been like 2 sentences each day, which has just included like what I had for lunch, what I had for dinner. There's nothing else happening in my life.
Listen, you're going through it, man. For those of you that do not keep up on things, the COVID situation over there is pretty. Can I say dire? Is dire the word I'm looking for, Joel?
Yeah, it's really bad because the government here just sat on their hands basically last year when things were going quite well and the infection rates were low, and should have been pulling their fingers out and getting the vaccine rolling then, but they didn't because they thought, we got this under control. We can take our time with it. And now it's come to bite them in the ass.
Oh, I cannot believe that even here today on August, whatever today is, the 17th, we are still talking about this COVID stuff, and it is still impacting.
I'm fucking bored of talking about it and dealing with it every day.
Isn't it just? You're just like I don't know. I mean, I think the whole world is at this shoulder shrug. And I guess if you got vaccinated, you can to a certain degree. But then there's people that are arguing with the people who aren't vaccinated. And it's just like, you know what? It's just, I'm so tired of it. Not that I don't care, but I've really resigned to the fact that A, I'm going nowhere ever in the rest of my life, right? B, I have built my life to never leave the house. And C, when I do leave the house, there are so many safeguards that I have in place that it's not the disease, it's the people that I don't want to deal with. Like I don't care about the little molecules anymore. I care about I just can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, opinions about COVID are nearly as bad as COVID itself.
It really is. I'd rather get COVID. I'd rather be on a ventilator than to have to listen to somebody talk about COVID like we've done for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean the thing for me, I'm not worried about catching it because I've had my double dose, my Sinopharm vaccine. I don't know how effective that is, but it's better than nothing. But I'm scared of catching it and passing it on to Mally, who's had one shot and is waiting another one because of the fucking state of this country, and Esther as well.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But that's what they're saying. They're saying like little kids are like now the biggest carriers of this. They're like that was like the big news of the morning. Like when we wake up in the morning, we'll put on here's the problem. There's no hockey, and so there's nothing that I watch. I'm watching old wrestling. I'm watching kind of new wrestling. I'm watching New Japan, but for the most part, I'm in a daze because there's no hockey and there's no I don't really follow baseball. I can't sit and watch baseball. So anyway, long story short, we put on the news, and every day it's like, you've heard of Good Morning America, it's the nation's national news in the morning. So 7:00, Good Morning America, COVID, killing children. It's like cases on the right. And it's just like my wife's like, what now? And then next story, wildfires in California. What now? People dying in Florida. It's just I can't deal with it anymore. I just can't deal with. I don't know. I can't deal with it anymore. Neither can anyone else. Neither can Joel. Neither can anyone.
I don't know why we opened the podcast with it.
But it is because it's all around and you can't shake it. And I know people come here sometimes for a relief of that and to not hear it. But it's just like, sometimes it's just like, what the? And not for nothing, my poor wife, she's got to deal with it every fucking day because that's her job. Her job is HR benefits and that stuff, and to keep the workplace under compliance. And there's offices all over the country, and there's just numbnuts running around. And she's got to be like, you're sick, you stay home. I don't know what you don't fucking understand. Oh, you didn't. But I was on a ventilator, and I thought maybe I could. Shut up! Stay home, you idiots! I did the voice again. I did the ventilator voice. The guy
I did the voice to Mally yesterday.
Oh, you did?
She loved it. Yeah.
We got. What's the name again? What was the guy's name again? I know he's from Baton Rouge. I don't know why. I kind of do know why, but I don't know why. Do you remember the guy's name? Oh, I forgot the guy's name. I don't know. It's not important. Can you do the voice for me right now?
I'm not putting anything that I don't know inside my body.
It's pretty good.
I don't trust that government. No.
Let me tell you something. I was out in my tractor trailer, and I was driving all night long, and I was thinking about COVID-19. I don't even think it's a real thing. I was stuck my head out the window. I caught a bug in my teeth. Not the COVID-19, that's for sure. But the next thing I know, I started hawking and coughing and wheezing. And the next thing I know, I'm on a ventilator. God damn it, I'm on a ventilator. Thank you.
Great start to the show.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
This is making the segue to the next part quite difficult. But it's a tough week, Damon. A lot of bad news. We've lost some important people this week.
Yeah, we did. Listen, I don't even know how I segue into this, but for a lot of people, their introduction, and not only their introduction, but their ability to grow their fandom of not only New Japan. I wouldn't even say New Japan. I would say more other Japanese promotions that at 2, 3, 4 years ago was very difficult to watch. You couldn't just pop on a TV like you can right now and stream, and it was a real hero archive. That was a hotspot. I can't tell you how many wrestlers would come up to us being me, and I had nothing to do with it, but Eric and Mort and Jamel, who were involved in this. It was a 2-man crew for the longest time, and then it became a third. And the dedication that they had to putting up every single show. There could be one person, Joel, and I love Basara. Basara's going up on the archive. I love Freedoms going up on the archive. And it really became a destination where, again, wrestlers would contact, and we would go to shows, and they'd be, you're a real hero, and Eric, yeah, man. So, of course, I mean, if you don't know, and if you're one of those people that do not have a social media presence, good on you. But also, Rough news. The passing of Jamal Hepburn, who was one of the cogs in that wheel, was one of the main people that were doing it, and he was still doing to this day. Well, not to this day, but up until his untimely passing, 30-something years old, and just what a nice guy. Like, nobody has anything bad to say about him. He was friends to so many people, and again, was responsible for a lot of, again, the if you love Japanese pro wrestling, I guarantee it, you saw one of his videos, and it was, they weren't getting paid for that, and they weren't getting anything for it except the fact that he would wake up early. He lived in Florida. He'd wake up at crack of dawn, put shit up. Countless sleepless nights, countless hours dedicated to it for really just the idea of sharing pro wrestling. And I was covering the Eagles at the time when I got the text message where, I think I can say, Chris Hero reached out to Eric and wanted to get a hold of him. And Eric hit me up and was like, hey, Chris Hero's trying to get a hold of me. I think it was Roy Lucifer out in California Lucifer? I always say Lucifer. Lucifer, yeah.
I don't even know who he is, but he pops up all the time on my timeline.
But he's like an old school tape trading guy back in the day. Like, you would always see him out in California trading tapes. And I just recently met him, like probably in the past 4 or 5 years. Anyway, Eric was like, hey, why Chris Hero's trying to get a hold of me? And I joked, and I was like, oh, he's probably trying to say, hey, do you have that Noah match that in 2006 where I wrestled, whoever? And then I had to step away. I came back, and I had like 3 messages, phone messages. Somebody called. It was Eric. And I'm like, this guy don't call. I wonder what's up. He'll text, but he won't call. Who calls? And he call me back. Damon, call me back. Fuck, call me back. Oh my God, call me back. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he gave me the news. So again, that was terrible news, obviously. And again, Joel, it's just an amazing thing. What people, we joke about it ourselves, but like just the love of pro wrestling, like what people do to spread the word. And of course, you had Bobby Eaton's death, who I was a huge fan of. Again, probably top 5 favorite wrestler of all time across all platforms. And then, I'm watching Midnight Express compilations, and just my wife is so sick of hearing that fucking theme music. But he was great. He was one of my favorites. To me, the best punches in the business. He threw the best punches of anybody in pro wrestling. And then you ice the cake with a pretty big radio hero of mine passing away. If people in the States might have known Ron and Fez. And Fez was a big wrestling fan. Fez got his name from Pez Whatley, an old Southern wrestler. And a lot of this podcast is me trying to be Ron Bennington, and the influence that he's had on just me wanting to get in the radio and be in radio and to do a show like this. And, along with Fez passed away, and that's the story there. So it's just been a heartbreaking week. And I'm bogarting the time here, and I appreciate it, Joel. But just a 3-way dance of shit and cloud that it really all 3 of them hit me in the gut really pretty hard. So again, thoughts go out to Jamal's family, friends, followers. If you watch the video online and it was Japanese pro wrestling, I promise you it was probably delivered from that crew. So my heart goes out to them. Again, I listen, I know you're not a big fan of Jim Cornette. I know that's to be the case. I'm going to recommend that you listen to that first show back of Cornette's podcast where he talks about Bobby Eaton. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. You hear a grown man break down, which is not comfortable, but it is heartfelt in its emotion, and I think it's required listening for people. Just what Bobby Eaton meant to Jim Cornette. I think that's like, if you're a pro wrestling fan, I think you owe that to yourself and to them. I really do. And then now I'm off the soapbox.
Yes. So thoughts to all the family involved. Let's move on then to talk about a very big show at the weekend for New Japan, Resurgence, coming from the Torch at LA Coliseum on Saturday night. General thoughts, Damon. I thought it was a home run. It was a tremendous show. Great to see New Japan back in front of a hot crowd. And I built it up quite a lot. My expectations were very high going into the show. And they lived up to them. And I think the show served its purpose, not necessarily for stars, for Match of the Year candidates. It was there to get people excited about New Japan again. And I think that worked because just, judging from the Twitter timeline, load of people talking about New Japan who haven't been talking about it for months and months and months. It set up fresh feuds. There's a lot more interest in New Japan of US in particular. And I mean, we've come such a long way since the early episodes of Strong, which I felt like I was the only person watching. So I know it feels weird to say this, but I felt kind of proud of them.
Good.
For having come so far to put on a great show like that. It was like the first episode of a new TV season, like a reboot where the fans who had dropped off the bandwagon can jump back on boards. And what were your thoughts on the show?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And how amazing is it that, when it comes to New Japan, a lot of the focal point and the epicenter of all the good things is coming out of Los Angeles. And who would have thunk that, a year ago, 2 years ago? It's what we wanted, right? Quite honestly, it's turned out better than I thought. I thought the show was great. I love the atmosphere. Like where that ring was set up near the Coliseum entrance and, the Olympic rings and the torch still being lit and, being dusk and the crowd was into it. And no, it was, I think you're right in the sense that, I don't think I walked out of there with like, oh my God, this match was Match of the Year. Although I don't think there was a bad match on the goddamn show. There wasn't one that knocked your socks off and had your pants down. But you're right. Everything had a purpose. Everything was interesting. Everything was fun. There were parts of this show where I'm kind of like really pumped. Like I'm grabbing my fist. I'm like, yes, let's fucking go. I thought it was well booked. I thought it was well paced. I thought the matches delivered when they needed to. There were plenty of surprises. Home run. I think, I mean, an easy home run. Like when I turned off that show, dare I say I had not even a renewed interest in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. And Christ almighty, do we have stuff to look forward to here? And in the United States, of all places. Somebody listens to this show, Joel. Somebody's listening to this show because, truth be told, it felt like all of our check boxes, all of our wants and needs, very sexy, have been met, right? Doesn't it feel like that?
Yeah, I thought at the time, at several points during the show, that this show was, in a nutshell, all the stuff that's missing from the Japanese product right now, which isn't their fault, to be fair, but just it left me with that just desperate desire to get the travel open up. Because once the travel's open up and you can get as many of these guys from the US over to Japan, then I think that fixes all the problems that you got in New Japan right now.
It does, but the positive of all that is, look at what we got in the States. Like, I feel like we have right now with Strong a legitimate, viable brand that is buzzworthy and exciting. I mean, look at all the names that are here. I mean, Strong has become a destination. And weirdly enough, I mean, is the U.S. title the biggest title for Strong? I don't know. I mean, weirdly enough, that's now in the hands of the top guy of the promotion, who happens to be Japanese. I mean, that aside, like that roster right now, and the possibilities and the sexy matchups. I mean, your head's spinning. And again, this show specifically did not only a great job of wrapping some stuff up, but also like it made you want to see how things progress. Like that show, if you watch that show, you want more. Like you're going to watch next week, and you're going to watch the week after, and you're going to put a little calendar reminder, be like, oh, remember Strong. And maybe not, you don't watch it Friday night or whenever it's on, but maybe you watch it Saturday morning, or maybe like you got to watch it now. I can't even call it a secondary brand show. I mean, for a weekly television program, Joel, we got it. We have a weekly episodic television program with angles and storylines and great pro wrestling. This is what we wanted. And fans. Like, we always were like, oh, they got to do this in Japan. We need a weekly show, blah, blah, blah. We got it. And it's awesome. It's fucking great. The names that are here is unbelievable. Like, if you just took, like, again, why would you? But if you just took this brand and said, okay, this is it. This is a very good wrestling product we got in front of us right now.
And especially with all the collaboration going on between a number of US-based promotions, there's a lot of things to get excited about, which we've needed desperately over the last year or so. So I'm really excited to talk about this show. First of all, Damon, can I ask how you watched it? Because I heard a lot of complaints yet again about Fight TV, more like Shite TV. Am I right? But yeah, I watched this on World with a Japanese commentary, and a couple of issues with camera work. I mean, obviously it's not New Japan's regular team, but a few times that the camera missed stuff that was going on in the ring. Bit Kevin Dunn, dare I say. But yeah, what was your viewing experience like?
I watched the Japanese feed on World. There was no way in hell I was paying for another feed on Fight. They are never getting my money. I don't care what the circumstances are. And they lived up to their shit reputation, right? I gotta say, I totally nailed that one, because I can't tell you how many, in watching the Japanese feed, obviously they were back in Japan doing a voiceover, and they were waiting for the feed, the buffering. The buffering on their end that was being fed to us was chef's kiss, Fight TV. And and again, they use their crew, and I understand the cost. It's the cost of doing that is in New Japan's favor, and they're caught between a rock and a hard place, and they got to do what they got to do. So Fight TV's there, but yeah, I would have loved to have heard Kevin Kelly's commentary. I thought he probably would have done a great job, but I can't see me forking out that money when I have World, and the Japanese commentary doesn't bother me at all. In fact, a lot of times I appreciate it. So, yep, I went that route. I did watch it the next morning. I was spoiler free, but it was started at like 11 o'clock Eastern, and I was my eyes were. I had to go to bed after I was getting updates from everybody there. Like a lot of text messages. We would have loved to have been there, but unfortunately not. But yeah, it looked like everybody had a great time, man.
So let's step into the main event then. We'll go in reverse order here. We had IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match with the challenger Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating the champion Lance Archer after 90 minutes 26 seconds. Nice short match there. Love it. None of this 36-minute nonsense. Tanahashi winning via the high fly flow. And this was notable for me for just the way that the crowd really got into it, and they're really playing along with the heel and the face dynamics, which is a mark of respect both to Lance Archer and Hiroshi Tanahashi, that they will, everyone loves Lance Archer. I don't know anyone who dislikes him, but people were still booing him because they're like, he's the bad guy, we're going to boo him. Tanahashi's the hero, we're going to cheer for him. And that was just a little thing that enhanced my enjoyment of the match. And just, what a sign of trust for New Japan in Lance Archer, a guy who left them to work for a competitor.
Yeah.
And you can tell there's no bad blood or ill feeling towards Lance Archer. In choosing him to main event this huge, big comeback show, a lot of trust in him as a professional, that they can rely on him to put on a great show. So that I thought was worth putting out there. And he put a really touching promo at the end when he was talking about being back and Tanahashi, which is something I wasn't expecting, but just perfect. Really, really hit all the right notes there. And I mean, I guess I was right in the end of what I said last week. They do want another singles title back in Japan. So presumably Tanahashi is going to be bringing this back to Japan and possibly defending it at one of those dome shows. And I just thought very fitting that he was the guy to close the curtain on this resurgence. Because it's just amazing, Damon, how every year we think, oh, this is the year Tanahashi's going to get downcycled. He's going to be a dad this year. But he's just having an outstanding 2021. A lot of times he's been called on to perform where he otherwise wouldn't have been, due to unforeseen circumstances. He's getting the tap on the shoulder. I'm just going to stop predicting that he's ever going to slow down. Tanahashi's officially going to be a main eventer forever. So really, really good match. Great way to close the show.
Outstanding. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put this in his top 10 matches, but still people were there for the experience. People wanted to see him. People were cheering him as if he were the ultimate babyface, which he is. Yeah. And it is fitting that he would close it out, and the air guitar and the whole 9 yards. When I first started doing, and the idea of a New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast, was in my brain. One of the first talking points was, how Tanahashi is held together with duct tape, and he's probably on his. Well, how long ago was that? That was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I don't even know how long ago. And you're right. Every year it's like, okay, you get little tastes of it. You're like, oh, okay, so he's gonna do tags for now, and the injuries, he's gonna sit out for a little bit, and he's gonna be just big match Tanahashi. They bring him out. Oh, no, he's still a guy that when they need him most, he delivers. That to me is a superstar. Like, that to me is a world great, where in a big spot, when a company needs a big spot, he delivers, right? It's like, you can win all the regular season games you want, but when it matters in championship games and big time tournament games, you got to deliver. You got to put the fucking ball in the back of the net. You got to fucking put the puck in the net. You got to make that basket. You got to want the ball. Tanahashi wants the ball. And also Lance Archer. That cannot be something to just hand wave. The fact that they did trust him and I don't want to say gave him that spot, but, pro wrestling's a weird thing. And he left on good terms. He obviously left the right way, and the company trusted him to do the right thing. And again, in a big spot against Tanahashi. So, yeah, that was a win. That was a huge win for everybody, because it was the perfect crescendo to a really strong card.
John has written in to say, WTF, Lance couldn't even have the title for a month. What is the booking reason to not have him carry it and have it on TV on a weekly basis? I said before, I think New Japan are lacking in singles titles in Japan, so that's why they're bringing it over. And they've got the never openweight title in the States. They've got the strong title in the States. They don't need 3 singles titles in the US right now. The only question mark is why they did this Moxley to Archer, then to Tanahashi. I suspect we're going to be seeing Tanahashi versus John Moxley in the future. Maybe even Wrestle Kingdom. Who knows how things shape up for that. But I think that's something they've got on their radar. But what are your thoughts on the booking decision itself?
See, I don't mind it. And here's what it reminded me of. So you take up like an old 80s promotion like Memphis or any one of the territories, right? And the NWA World Champion was the touring champion. And I'm kind of thinking of it as that, So again, that IWGP Heavyweight Championship or US Championship is like Strong's ultimate prize, we'll call it, right? And the Strong belt being the regional heavyweight champion, right? So the regional heavyweight champion, when Flair would tour, boom, we're defending that title against whoever the champion is of that day. And that's where I really feel like that's the feeling, at least I got from all of this. Like it just makes sense. Tanahashi comes in and out. He's going to defend it in Japan, but then he's going to be back. He loves it here. Defend against the Strong champion, or defend, whatever the case may be. And again, we know that guy's going to show a pop up on TNT on a Wednesday night or whatever the hell AEW's on, right? We do know that, right? We do know that is a slam dunk happening, right?
You sound really confident about that, Damon.
I mean, come on. I mean, I don't think. I think between him cutting promos, pre-recorded promos for AEW, literally 5 minutes was dedicated to Lance Archer saying how he wants to, when you come here to AEW, just make sure I'm the first guy that you wrestle. And it was, yeah, he's going to be on AEW. And again, I don't know, but here's the thing. Do we even know if he's back? Tanahashi.
I saw some social media posts indicating that he either has already left or is in the process of leaving.
All right. Maybe he's pulling a Hinare, right? Taking a little picture of an airport, right? He's still there.
Tanahashi working us? No way.
Just saying. I mean, look, stranger things have happened, right? I'm not saying everybody run to your TV and fucking turn it on, whatever it's. And I'm not saying that, but I'm just like, okay, eventually that's going to happen. I think everybody is well aware that's going to happen.
Okay, our other main event was the Never Openweight Championship match with Jay White successfully defending against David Finlay, 22 minutes, 59 seconds with the Blade Runner. So there was a lot of scuttlebutt going into this. Following an interview David Finlay did with the Wrestling Observer, indicating that perhaps he would be happier working in NXT. He talked about how he would like to, I think the phrase was, sit under the Shawn Michaels tree, how he's just moved to Florida. And just little bits and pieces like that, which certainly got a few people worked up, myself included. Just gave the indication that Finlay is a guy who sees his long-term future in the States rather than in Japan, which is fair enough. That's up to him. But whether or not that information should have come out in an interview a couple of days before Resurgence is another matter indeed, because I think it affected this match because it was a good match, a really good match, but it wasn't their best. I mean, they've had better contests than this in the past, but the crowd dynamics were all out of whack. And I think that was in large part because of this interview. A few things. I'm curious, was this something that they foresaw? Because I think Jay White is a guy who's always going to get cheered in the US. You see how he gets the crowd react to him on Impact. Like, he's pure babyface there because US fans, they like a cool heel. Jay White's the cool heel. They're not going to boo him. For David Finlay, there's never really been a strong crowd connection with the US fans at the best of times. I mean, the Japanese fans seem to get behind him, and he's gone from, in Japan, being a red-hot babyface during that New Japan Cup, where he got that big win against Jay White, to here actually getting booed by a hostile US fan base, which I thought was really remarkable and kind of made the match feel very strange to me.
Yeah. And dare I say that we kind of, I don't want to say we kind of saw that happen, but we kind of did talk about that last week in the sense of the people that are going to Resurgence are not casual New Japan Pro Wrestling fans. Now, they might like wrestlers that you might not like, but they know what time of day it is. they're smart cookies. And there are people that, New Japan is a hill that they're willing to die on. Well, again, am I that person? I don't think so. But yeah, I think that interview left a sour taste, and I don't think that was us stoking flames, and I don't think that was us fanning the flames at all. I think we pointed out what a lot of people felt, and a lot of people felt that okay, there is a portion of the fan base that, dare I say, was a little bit offended. Take that for what you want, right? There was also part of the fan base that was like, he's probably working everybody and just blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then that's, you could see where you would think that. Fine. The end result is that for whatever reason, the fans shit on him. Whether it was Jay White is super popular, he's Bullet Club, he's a cool heel, all that you mentioned, or maybe they had a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth from that interview. And again, these are not casual fans. They know what time it is. So, yeah, I think all that played into it. It being, if is weird the word I'm looking for? It certainly didn't, like the match was good. The match was fine. The match was, there's nothing wrong with the match. But I don't even think that they figured that was going to happen. And they had to call an audible in some regards into how this match was going to be worked. Because David Finlay working babyface in this match made no sense, right? Because he was not the babyface of that crowd.
And then afterwards, we had Tomohiro Ishii coming out to challenge Jay White. So that looks like a match we'll be getting stateside in not too distant future. The sixth match was a special tag match with the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, defeating John Moxley and his surprise partner, Yuji Nagato, who we really should have seen that coming. I'm annoyed that we didn't manage to predict that. 10 minutes, 33 seconds via the Magic Killer. This was an absolute Good Brothers match. It's it's a McDonald's cheeseburger, isn't it? Exactly what you're going to get each time, and it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I mean, the one thing that irked me, Damon, was the way the Good Brothers using, arguably the hottest show of New Japan's year to promote Talking Shopomania. Right. When they did that on the mic, I was like, you fuckers. Thankfully, the mic cut out, so there was that.
Let me say right now, can I speak for you on this, Joel? We are not going to have anyone talking about Wrestle Talk-a-mania again on our podcast. All right, I don't care who you are.
Shopomania, get it right.
My bad.
Put some respect on the Talking Shopomania name.
My bad. Yeah, we will not have anyone. So, when the rounds go around of asking if we're going to politely decline that offer, let it be known publicly.
So, afterwards, we got Guerrillas of Destiny coming out to start some beef with the Good Brothers, another sort of intra-Bullet Club feud going on. It's not for me. I have yet to meet any people who are excited by this, but I'm sure there are plenty of them out there. So I think it's a feud. You have to do it. You can't not do Good Brothers versus GOD. And I'm sure it will probably do good business for New Japan. So I don't have any complaints about them running that feud. I think it would be sort of negligent to not do it, even if it isn't to my taste. The question is that a feud that's going to trickle its way through to Japan and get involved with the IWGP heavyweight tag titles? Personally, I hope not, but we'll see. I mean, if this is a feud that is self-contained within the US, then all the better for me. Flynn says, also, now is it okay to do a shameless plug for outside crap after a match? Will this open the floodgates? I'm looking forward to Ospreay doing a Manscaped read after beating Okada at the Dome. That is not my question. And Elliot says, why the Good Brothers? The very definition of mediocrity. That is my question.
Well, look, they were always punching bags from, again, day one. Never a fan. Never will be a fan. Yep. But you are right. They have to do this. They would be dumb to not do this, especially in the States. Like they could, the Bullet Club wearing T-shirt, bring my wrestling belt to a wrestling show fan. They got a boner, right? They got a boner. And I say a boner because there are no girls that are into this at all. They're like, yeah. So look, what do you? They had to do it. They have to do it. I'm not offended by the fact that they're going to do it in the States because it just makes sense. This is the place you do something like that. And the matches will be horrible. but again, you have to do it.
So we had prior to this match, Will Ospreay making a surprise appearance. He turns up, he announced that he's medically cleared, declares himself the real champion, says he's not going to be in the G1 Climax. He's still got his title belt. He says he's going to stick around as strong. He's going to take on any challenges from any promotion, and antagonizes Carl Fredericks, Clark Connors, and TJP, and then runs away, and then seemingly, according to his Twitter photo, set off his own fireworks display in the next door stadium, which I thought was great. I mean, doing the I'm the real champion storyline, that's an absolute open goal. You have to do it. I mean, as cliche as it is, you can't not run that story. It is a ready-made, good-to-go storyline for your title. So I think no issues with that whatsoever. And I saw a lot of hate for this promo. You know,
why?
Because people are entitled to their opinions. I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was
one of the best
unbelievable.
promos it's done. I mean, give me this any day of the week over the fucking nonsense he was doing with B. Priestley and Ibushi.
Yeah.
Like here, he was channeling pure, like Conor McGregor dickheadishness, and I thought it was tremendous. I was really entertained by this.
Me too. Why would anybody who hated this? Why would anybody hate this?
I don't want to speak for people, but maybe people who are predisposed to disliking Will Ospreay are more inclined to dislike everything he does. But I'm sure people disliked it on its own merits. But personally, I thought it was a tremendous promo. I love this. It made me really excited.
Yep, I thought it was fucking great. He was a fucking prick. What a prick! And again, I mean, let's venture off a different path a little bit, and we'll get back on this path. The fact that he's not going to be in G1, Joel, that's and he's medically cleared to, if he's ready to go. How are you feeling about G1? I mean, we have arguably a guy who, at the very least, a guy who every night is going to give you a chef's kiss, fantastic match. And now he's out of the equation. And again, whether that's the company, whether that's him, whether that's COVID, whether it's New Japan's handling of COVID, whether it's Japan's handling of COVID, whatever the reason, he's out. And he's medically cleared. And I would say he is a major player, along with a few others, that aren't in this year's G1. How are you feeling about that?
I do have some notes on G1 and some questions about that to come up later. But we'll come back with that if that's okay. But it does feel cold. It feels colder compared to what's going on in the States right now.
And that's amazing, isn't it? Like, we're talking about, all right, well, and again, we'll get there. But that, like, the idea of a guy like him not in G1 and he's able to work. Boy, oh boy, what a fucked up year. What a fucked up 2 years. But okay, let's see where this goes. Anyway, I thought the promo was great. The idea of the fucking fireworks for his return is great. Again, he didn't lose the belt. He's got his own belt now. I'm all in on this one. I really
Kenny Powers, wasn't it? Kenny Powers with his fireworks display.
It was. I mean, to me, it was his best promo since his heel turn, really. And again, he was able to. Conor McGregor is a great comparison. That is a great comparison because that's what. Now that you mentioned it, that's what I'm feeling. So excellent. I thought it was excellent all the way around. And again, if you're not, you can't stomach Will, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But to me, that was fantastic.
So let's just touch on the implications for this with Ospreay calling himself the champion. So Steel O'Neill says, isn't it great that they finally split the world title just like we all wanted? Well, kind of. Pull one out for the record keepers trying to make sense of the difference between Ospreay and Shingo's defenses, though the double gold dash idea floating around is exciting. And Andrew says, if the two belts angle is going the way we're predicting, is Gedo capable of booking a 2-night Wrestle Kingdom without doing some variant of the double gold dash? And that is my real question. So, yeah, it looks like this is where we're heading. I think we will get Shingo defending his title against the G1 winner on night one, and then Ospreay probably wrestling Okada, because that makes sense. Ospreay wants to get his win back from Wrestle Kingdom, and that was the match that was they pulled the plug on after Ospreay got hurt for, I believe it was Wrestle Grand Slam. So, if I had to pick someone, I would say Naito. So maybe Naito wins the G1, Naito Shingo night one, Ospreay Okada, and then the winners go on to face each other at night two. I would love to see Naito Ospreay night two. I suspect it's going to be Shingo Ospreay night two, especially if it's restricted attendance. I think that's a match you can go back to and finally settle the score between them. Who's the real world champion? Do you agree? Do you think this is the direction we're going in?
I think we're definitely getting double domes. Again, once they did one of them, how do you go back? We're just doing one. Oh, okay, why? They're going to do two, especially now. Right? Trust me, if they could do 12 nights in a row, they will. They would at this point. They would do that one match a night. Everything goes 2-hour draws. But yeah, I think the way that it looks now, and again, we're in September, right around the corner, which means you only got a handful of months. It feels like an eternity, but it's not. It's going to go very quickly. Yeah, I think we're doing double domes, and the scenario that you laid out, I don't see any bumps in the road on that. I think that's pretty. That's a pretty solid way to get there. So yeah, I think 2 nights at the Dome, double champs. Yeah, fighting night 2 for the true crown. Yeah, I think it's what we're looking at.
And a little piece of news popped up on the timeline this morning from Andrew Zarian, he covers pro wrestling at The Observer. Is that The Observer? And the Matt Men podcast. Yes, it is The Observer. So he says that Daniel Bryan really wants to work with Will Ospreay, and it's a really big thing for him. So hopefully something we got to look forward to in the future.
We haven't even mentioned all that. I mean, the possibilities that are there. I mean, we're talking about that, but who knows? I mean, all the talk about that, Joel, is one of the big reasons of him wanting to even partner up with New Japan AEW is the idea of working in a New Japan ring. I mean, the idea of him returning again, Punk as well. I mean, that's all right. Let's put it this way: maybe for a big show like the Dome, they would. Do you see him? Daniel Bryan? Brian Danielson? Traveling to the Tokyo Dome?
This year?
Yeah, I don't.
No.
I don't see it.
No.
Do you see CM Punk?
No.
I definitely don't. Right, I definitely don't. And
I want to see CM Punk doing like a strong taping, empty arena. I want to see stuff like, Mysterioso, Bateman, and Barrett Brown defeating the team of Jordan Clearwater, CM Punk.
That would be fucking great. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, look, it's exciting times in pro wrestling, but let me pause for a second. You're a fan of CM Punk?
I was back in the day.
Okay.
I feel the hype with him is for the character and the promos rather than the in-ring stuff.
I'm curious about the in-ring stuff. Like, I'm more curious. I think he could probably still go. I mean, for a long time, I was a massive CM Punk fan. So yeah, I'm down with that. D-Bry, down with the D-Bry?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Could be an exciting time here. Do you think, and I know I'm throwing you 5,000 questions at once, but let's do it. Do you think you will see your boy D-Bry in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring in the country of Japan in the calendar year 2021?
No. I will say 2022.
2022.
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you there. All right. So we got a lot to look forward to. All right, so then maybe we can do a little what you planned out before, and we put that on the back burner, and hopefully COVID has cleared up. I know we've said that a trillion times. Fans get back, big gate. That sounds sexy to me, right? All right.
The fifth match on Resurgence was Tomohiro Ishii defeating Moose in 60 minutes, 7 seconds with a vertical drop brainbuster. I love the fact that Ishii brought his never six-man belt over with him to the USA. He's got respect. This is, the top championship in New Japan. He's got to represent. This was my favorite match of the night. I thought it was great. It was very noisy, just screaming at each other, very violent. Big chops, big moves, ton of fun. I just enjoy Moose, the way he moves. He's kind of like Bambi on roller skates. He's sort of a very sort of clumsy athleticism in him, which in a good way. It's very endearing. And I thought this match was great. It was. And this is something that John Carroll pointed out, that sending Ishii to the States is just an absolute slam dunk because the fans love him. And he just looked like he was having a great time out there, really energized, working in front of a noisy crowd again. And yeah, Moose is really impressive too. I hope we get to see more from him.
I fucking love Moose. To me, again, I told the story about me talking to him and the money that he was making at Impact. That being said, oh boy, did we miss the boat on Moose. I love him. I think to me, he's one of my favorite big guy wrestlers. Love him. And him and Ishii, I think they have a nice little chemistry. Look, I don't know what's going on in Impact. I don't know what his contract is. But Moose on Strong, I would fucking love. And I think he's probably one of the most underrated guys, under the radar guys, is Moose. Fucking, there's something there that people just haven't tapped into. And again, I get the money at Impact, and I get, how do you turn it down? All right, fine, whatever. But the fact that there has been, 3 solid years where he has been under the radar. Boy, I'll tell you, Strong would be nice. Strong would be nice. Know what I would love to see? I'd like to see a nice little run for Moose in Strong. That's what I would like.
We got an announcement for a big show in San Jose, Battle in the Valley on November 13th, featuring names such as John Moxley and Ishii and others. And I did notice, Damon, in this video package, they did feature Shingo Takagi and Kazuchika Okada. So how confident are you that those two names are going to be appearing in San Jose in November?
Well, funny you should say that. My wife is knocking on my office door right now, and dinner. It's, we flipped. I had my beer, another full. Oh, thank you, dear. Another full glass. Oddly enough, delicious pastrami sandwich sitting in front of me here. It's fantastic. What a coincidence, Joel.
Yum. A Super J-Cast favorite.
Oh, she really knows how to. The way to a man's heart is through a pastrami sandwich. So look, if I'm in the San Jose area, I would be thrilled at the idea of seeing those people that you mentioned that are featured on a video package where we have not been wrong before. Yeah, I think I feel pretty good about saying that. They're going pastrami sandwich, right? Pastrami sandwich.
And we also got an announcement that they're going to be doing a show called Detonation in Riverside, California. So, yes, again, if I was in the area, I would definitely be buying a ticket for those. So, if you can make it happen, you won't regret it. Let's just put it like that. Okay, our fourth match was Juice Robinson defeating Hickory in 9 minutes with a victory roll. I mean, we talked about Juice last week. I feel like he's hit his ceiling in New Japan. And dare I say, maybe on his way out of the company, who knows? Hey guys, it's me, JM says, if Hickory is going to be a thing in New Japan, at what point does he need to start having good matches? Well, I mean, I think the matches are fine. He needs to start winning some matches because you can see that they're keen on him and he's getting a lot of feuds, fairly high-profile singles feuds, but they're following a similar pattern where he will lose a tournament match or a title match, but then have a gimmick match afterwards and get his win back. So I suspect that's the direction we're going with Juice Robinson. I haven't looked. I don't want to see the spoilers from the Strong tapings, despite Damon sending them to me in the morning. Every time I see an image sent from you, I get excited because like, oh, is this going to be a scoop? Is this something big? And then I clicked it and I saw what it was. I was like, no!
I know you don't want them. I think they're important. But I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do. I don't want you to do anything you don't want to do.
This is a tricky one.
This is a tricky one.
I don't, because our listeners might not want to hear.
Well, we'll say spoilers. If you want to read it, you got to commit to the bit, right? So if you pop open your phone and you look at that image that I sent to you, and here's the thing, it's out there, so it's not like we're breaking any news here, right? This was on a site that people are well-known pro wrestling site, right? So it's out there. So it's not like we're totally spoiling here because they already fucking spoiled it. Because truth be told, I saw it and was spoiled. My bad. But if you don't want to be spoiled, don't open it. But let me just tell you, and again, I'm not spoiling anything. Strong Tapings is fucking good. You're gonna fucking love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
I really want to see it, but Joel Abraham is going. Let me repeat this. Joel Abraham is going to fucking love Strong. I can't wait for these tapings. I cannot wait to see them.
See, I want to give myself something to look forward to, something to be excited about. So I'm going to try to avoid them. I will probably fail. If I do fail, we'll come back and discuss them on the show.
Okay. Deal? Fair enough. But again, it's not like we are spoiling it. Yes. This news is out there. So just be careful. It's out there. If you're listening to this right now, you can find it. It's out there. We won't talk about it here right now for Joel's excitement level. Joel, I'm just going to go on the record. You will love it.
I can't wait. I'm excited. What about Juice versus Hickory? Did that excite you?
No, not at all. But again, I think you're right in the sense that wins matter, and people's perception of people matter, and he does need to pick up wins. And you're right. The pattern on him is lose these type of matches and then get that revenge win in some type of stip match. I don't know. Maybe we see that. Pretty soon down the road. Let's put it that way. Maybe that happens.
Then what was very close to being my favorite match of the night, the third match, the 10-man tag team match where we had Lio Rush, Chris Dickinson, Fred J. High, Yuya Uemura, and Adrian Quest defeating Team Filthy, Tom Lawler, JR Kratos, Danny Limelight, Jarrell Nelson, and Royce Isaacs, with Yuya Uemura, of all people, getting the pin over Danny Limelight with his deadbolt suplex. This was my main event, Damon.
Loved it, huh?
This match may end up as my number 10 match, the vanity pick. Wow. Everyone's going to laugh, but
Really?
I'm not apologising that. I thought this is great. It ruled. It was all my favourite guys from Strong. All the ingredients that I like to see in a multi-man tag team match. Just, again, like I said last week, these are the hungry guys who've got a point to prove. And, each guy may only get about 2 minutes in the ring, but by God, they are going to make the most of that 2 minutes. And I touched on it earlier on in this podcast. It was like this match was the cure for the current New Japan malaise in a nutshell. Like, just imagine how much sending a bunch of these guys over to Japan would freshen up the domestic roster. Like, imagine Team Filthy invading a Korakuen show and just beating up all the geeks and sending them home. I thought JR Kratos looked particularly great out there. I think they did structure the match to make him look good. And he's a guy who's so impressive. He's worked incredibly hard. He's improved a ton and really looked great over the last year. And I think he deserves a shot in Japan when things open up. And I was thrilled to see Yuya getting a pin, delivering his promo in English. We even had Hiromu saying "holy shit" in English. Yeah. This was great stuff. I loved it.
How about that Shibata and him coming into the ring, giving him the dojo t-shirt and says, what did he say? Like, come with me. And he put on that T-shirt, and they left together. That was a moment. I was on fire. I was so pumped because guess what? We saw the guy who's headlining the Tokyo Dome in 5 years in a magic moment. I got goosebumps, and I don't get goosebumps. I got the goosebumps on that one. That was fantastic. Yep, and I think you said it before. There's no doubt. There's a reason why he got the win. There's a reason because he is earmarked for greatness in that promotion, and this was a nice little stepping stone bridge. He's a dojo guy now, and he's under Shibata's wing. And here we go. Fantastic stuff.
Prior to this, there was a big thank you video. I was expecting something hype because when they started talking, when they were going like, New Japan appeared at Madison Square Garden, I was like, it's here we go. And talking about working together with other promotions, like, holy shit, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. I was expecting, New Japan, AEW, Impact, back to the Garden, but it was just a thank you video. I'll take the thank you. I would have liked a name check because I assume they're thanking me specifically for. I
agree. Listen, you are the leader of the New Japan Strong. Listen, there are plenty of people jumping on the bandwagon now, Joel. But let's be truthful. You were and still are the conductor of that Strong train. And I'm gonna lie. Name me another podcast that was talking about Strong as much as we were. Let me take that back. As much as you were, right? Name me another show. Name me another blog, website, fucking Tumblr. I don't give a shit. Name it. And then everybody started hopping on board, right, Joel? Everybody started getting interested, right? We'll lead that train. We are the conductors. We are the conductors. And that thank you was for us. I know that for a fact. I believe that in my heart.
But that was your welcome aboard to my train. Happy to have you.
I can't wait to pull a train on you, Joel.
Okay, so our second match was a 6-man tag match with Ren Narita, Clark Connors, TJP, defeating Rocky Romero, Fred Rosser, Wheeler Yuta. 11 minutes, 19 seconds. Clark Connors pinning Rocky after the trophy cure and Mamba Splash from TJP. So again, just everything I like about Strong. Great mix of dojo lads, young up-and-coming talent, and the experienced veterans working hard, putting on a great show. And again, it's Clark Connors taking the pin. Note that down because that means something.
Yeah, these guys are going to be that second level of New Japan Strong that people are going to latch on to very quickly. And you'll see that. Again, Jay White, Ospreay, big names, cornerstones of the promotion. But then you have these guys that are going to be used as, secondary. And I say that with no disrespect. You know what I mean? Like, eventually they're going to be top guys. But what a roster, right? And all these guys picking up big wins on a big show, on their big show. It all means something. Everything meant something. That's what I loved about this show. And everything, dare I say, I mean, listen, some guys winning, some guys losing. Okay, whatever. To me, I don't think they missed a beat. They hit everything. The check marks were next to everything that needed to happen. Just a wonderful pro wrestling show. And then even the opener was pretty fantastic, and it set the pace for the entire night.
Yeah, so Carl Fredericks beat Alex Coughlin 10 minutes, 48 seconds with the MD. Yeah, these guys beat the piss out of each other, as we expected. But again, I don't know if this is a hot take. I'm very keen on Carl Fredericks, but I think Alex Coughlin has more upside. He excites me a lot more than Carl does.
I like them both, and I think both of them will be like major players in the promotion. I mean, I like them all. I don't think there's a guy that I'm like, fuck that guy. Like, name me a guy on Strong. I can't, and I'm not just saying that. Like, there's not a guy on Strong where I'm like, fuck that guy. And, there are guys that were honestly, Fred Rosser. You think 3 years ago you were on? You know what I mean? Like you could easily just be like, "Yeah, fuck that guy."
Yeah, when I saw his name popping up, appearing for the first time on Strong, I was like, "Oh God, here we go! This is going to be like the retirement home for guys who didn't make it in WWE." But I was totally wrong about that. And it's credit to them. I can't think of many names who started off on Strong who either are not there anymore or are working in bigger companies now. Which I think speaks volumes for their eye for talent, that they weren't, they didn't pick up any old rubbish to start with. They were very thoughtful, and they picked up guys who a lot of other companies passed on. But no, I don't see it with this guy, and who've turned out to actually be really good.
I love the roster. I think, they were selective in who they wanted. They have a real good mix. Everyone feels unique in their own way. You have your big guys, you have your high flyers, everybody's kind of has the role. Who would have thought 2 years ago that we'd be sitting here talking about a U.S.-based promotion that I can't get enough of right now? I cannot get enough. And I'm super excited for. This is the dream that we had when they started talking about a fucking LA dojo, and there was the jokes of the California territory. But we got ourselves a legitimate show here that rivals and can rival some of the big time U.S. promotions here when it comes to fan interest, when it comes to product, when it comes to excitement, and when it comes to must-see television. I'm fucking all in on this, man. You nailed it. And listen, they got some good breaks along the way, and they made good moves too. They made good moves. They made smart moves. But yeah, you nailed it, man. You fucking nailed it.
Victory lap for me. I mean, this whole show was just one massive.
It really is.
Joel victory lap. Jeff says Alex Kozlov takes a lot of heat, but he had a great point during the Resurgence broadcast. Quote, "It's hard to breathe when you can't breathe." Could you expand on that? That is my question. No, I can't expand on that because I was listening to the Japanese commentary. One other thing I want to touch on for Strong is that on this Friday's episode, we're going to be having Daniel Garcia making an appearance, who, I quote, "the best young wrestler on the North American Indies," from I think it was Mike Spears who said that. There seems to be one person that everyone universally, when I asked in the Slack, "What do you think of Daniel Garcia?" everyone was saying like he's a bona fide nailed on future star. So
okay.
I would definitely check out Strong this week. I hope he makes more New Japan appearances. I suspect he's going to be AEW bound, but a person who there's a lot of buzz behind the name Daniel Garcia.
Okay.
Trained by Voices Wrestling's very own Brandon Thurston.
Is that right? Daniel Garcia. All right. I'm doing a Google search right now, by the way. Where can I see Daniel wrestle? Daniel Garcia, wrestler.
So for this week's Strong, let me just check this schedule. Summer Strong USA. So this week we've got Alex Coughlin versus Matt Morris, Drama King Matt, the guy who's formerly Aiden English. TJP Rennerita Clark Connors against Fred J. High, Fred Rosser, and Daniel Garcia. So that's where he will be appearing. And then Chris Dickinson and Brody King against Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson in the main event. So, I mean, that one is going to be behind closed doors. That was already taped. But I'm looking forward to seeing Daniel Garcia in action. And that main event looks tasty as well.
I'm looking at, I just decided to pull up Cage Match. He was just recently, I think last weekend. Listen to this. So Williamstown, New Jersey is probably like a 30-minute drive, 20-minute drive at best, So it's close to my house. I had no idea what this I had no idea the show. This is IWTV Independent Wrestling World Title Match. August 8th, 2021. Daniel Garcia, Wheeler, Utah. A 60-minute time limit draw. Huh. That was last weekend. And I'm looking through, again, plenty of AEW stuff. Yep. Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, Moxley. Yeah, he's okay.
Jonathan Gresham. Sorry, that match, the hour draw, with Wheeler Yuta. It's got very high rating, 8.67 score on Cage Match so far as an indicator. So
fuck,
I don't know if I can commit an hour to that because I'm a relatively busy man. But raising my eyebrow.
I'm raising my eyebrow. My eyebrow is raised. I can't believe that was a fucking 20 minutes from my house. Fuck. I probably wouldn't have gone anyway. I don't like leaving the house. But man, all right, I'm excited. Let's get in on the Daniel Garcia training wagon. Why don't we? Let's do it.
All right, so a few questions here. In-ring art says, do you feel like all this US expansion is watering the product down and possibly hurting the domestic product? MGC Universe says, what's your opinion on the coming New Japan being very interlocked with American wrestling promotions? Will Japanese audiences watch AEW and Impact to keep up with the storylines being tied to those promotions? And what are your general thoughts on AEW as of now? So, I mean, I would say to the first question, no, it's not watering it down at all. I think it's enhancing it and giving something exciting to look forward to on the horizon. When, fingers crossed, things open up, we've got so many exciting possibilities of meshing those two rosters together because they do feel like two separate products at the moment.
They do.
But I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I like having these two sort of things I can sort of dip in and out of under the New Japan umbrella. And just the prospect of having those clash in the future is absolutely thrilling to me. As far as Japanese audiences watching AEW and Impact, they don't need to because they put all those matches up on World. I'm not watching Dynamite or Impact, but any prominent matches that involve New Japan talent pop up on New Japan World pretty quickly after the fact. So I don't think that's a problem, personally.
Right, from a New Japan perspective, you'll get those eventually, right? And trust me, it's not like it's not like a person living in Japan has no idea how to find a pro wrestling match that they're interested in online. You know what I mean? If they hear it's good, they'll find it. So don't worry about that. Listen, I know that there's a lot of people that hand wave AEW. Everything that I've seen, I've liked. I really do.
It feels so hot at the moment, doesn't it? Especially with all the rumors about Punk and Danielson coming in. And, I don't watch it because I don't have access to it, but it sounds like it's really, really kicking off at the moment.
Yeah, I'm truthful when I say I got zero problem with the product. Zero. I think it's for a weekly television show, jam-packed arena, really great matches from what I've seen. Even, the big events I've seen. I got no problem with it, man. I think it's a solid pro wrestling show. And it's fucking light years better than the alternative. Let's put it that way. Light years. I think it's good.
So let's talk about the events going on in Japan at the moment with the Super Junior Tag League. We finally had the breakup of Honky 3K. So Sho looked like he was going to make the save for Yo, who was caught in a submission hold by El Desperado. And then he did nothing and he stepped outside of the ring and he gestured to Suzuki-gun and said, go and finish him off. Do your business, do your worst. And then he attacked Sho after the match, hit him with a shock arrow. Damon, your thoughts?
About fucking time. Yeah, everything felt like it was well past its due date. We were all waiting for this to happen. We all kind of saw the handwriting on the wall, especially with them going over, as we saw, and the idea of Yo being the weak link in the team. We've been calling for it for a while. It was time to put it to rest, and the angle itself was just as long and excruciating as the actual turn was, as long as us waiting for the actual turn. It felt like I was like, "Will you do something? Will you turn on the fucking guy, please?" He had that weird look on his face, didn't he? That whole time, it was just like that.
Smirky. Yeah, Manabu said that he looked like a psychopath, and I kind of agree. It was very unnerving, unsettling. So I'm just going to let you talk about this for a while because I'm sitting in here and my phone, the Bluetooth, has just gone off to say that my Bluetooth earbuds have been connected, which I don't have with me at the moment, which means Esther's playing with them.
Oh, shit.
Which means one of them's about to go missing. So I'm going to run while you talk about this.
All right. Like, I can handle that. We can do that. Again, not to beat a dead horse, but we have talked about this forever. It's about time. For me, though, there are a lot of people out there that love Yo and think Yo is the cornerstone of the team, not Sho. And the way that Yo is being presented, he is presented as the boob here, taking many of the pinfalls, taking many of the submission losses, getting his ass handed to him, being presented as the weak link. He's going to have to get some wins, right?
What do you think is next for Yo?
That's what I'm saying. After this feud, what do you do with him? Like, he has to be put in a very strong position, pardon the pun. Get it?
Okay, well, let me throw this at you. Sorry, I'm just going down my questions here. There was one from Classic Catch on the Discord who says, since Naito seems to make all of his proteges join LIJ, why has Yo never joined? There is a big Twitter thread explaining the story behind this, which I'm not going to read, but I think that might be a smart move. I think if you paired up Yo and Bushi and made them a junior tag team, what would you say to that?
I don't have a problem with it, but how do we get from point A to point B? So Sho is the heel in this, turns on Yo. Yo is the babyface. Are we going to Los Ingobernables, which is are they baby faces? Is this a babyface team we're looking at? Okay.
Yes.
We're confirming that is a baby. Okay. Well, I mean, there was always that, I wouldn't say tension, when Yo was a young lion, right? And before Excursion, and it seemed like Naito had a special bond, we'll call it. So they have to do. My point is this: they have to do something with him, because if he goes to the end of this feud without looking strong and having some shine put back on him, he's going to be a Master Wato real fucking quick, right?
Oh, we can do the Yo Master Wato team. There we go.
Jesus. That is not what we're looking for here. We're trying to help this guy. We're not trying to imagine that fucking tag team. I was saying while you were away that a lot of people think Yo is the stronger half of that tag team, A lot of people. And I think it's interesting. Me personally, I'm a Sho guy, not a Yo guy. I'm a shower, not a yoer.
That's great. Frankie says, over-under on Sho getting a push and appearing in the G1 and Best of Super Juniors this year. Okay. This is interesting about Sho, because, again, I was chatting to Manabu, and he seems pretty confident that Sho could be a big star in this heavyweight singles division. So what do you think happens to Sho? Do you think he sticks around as a junior? Does the junior division need him? Or can we make him a heavyweight, plug him into the G1 this year?
I would have no problem with that. The problem, I think, is the promotion. Does the promotion think he's a heavyweight? You can put on all the muscle you want. You can't grow 4 inches. That's the biggest challenge. He's just a small-looking guy. Now, he was a New Japan Cup. He didn't miss a fucking beat, right? When he was challenging,
he's got a win over Shingo. Let's point that out.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't look like he missed a beat, but the biggest knock on him is that he's not, heavyweight size. I would love to see him as a heavyweight. I didn't have any complaints. Now, if we're talking about him being a star, not for nothing, I always said Sho was the guy that I was looking forward to him taking next level jumps. Right? I'm always a big fan. Here's what they really need. They need this feud to be really good. Like, this has to produce some really fucking good matches, because I really feel like both of these guys need the Godzilla versus King Kong spaceship flying on their chest to resuscitate them. That's what they need. How about that callback spot, huh? Not bad. That's what they need, both of them. So they need to set the world on fire with this fucking feud. And then after they got a little bit of fire underneath them, sure, Los Ingobernables, you want you want Show to be a heavyweight? I got no problem with that. We can get some lifts in his fucking boots. Boop, away we go.
Chuck Sizzlebeef says, splitting Roppongi 3K, what does this mean for the junior tag division moving forwards? I mean, it's an afterthought, isn't it, the junior tag division? Nobody is thinking about that.
No, I mean, it's crickets, man. Crickets. That is one thing that is taking a little bit of a beating during our COVID night. No, you're gonna get fucking El Desperado. No, not El Desperado. You're gonna get El Desperado and you're gonna get Kanemaru. You're gonna get ELP and Ishimori again. Yes. I mean, who else we got? What else are we gonna do? Master Wato? Is Master Wato is a junior, right? How about Master Wato to Gooch?
Well, I'll come on to them. We'll come on to that. I want to stick with Roppongi 3K actually for the moment. Chuck says I just asked that question. Belky says, with tag team ending, what are the best most memorable matches Shonyo had as a package? I mean, for me, it's hard to look past the series they had with the Young Bucks in 2018. I thought that was fantastic. They've had some really good matches with Kanemaru and Desperado over the years as well. There's not one that I can say, yes, that is the best one, though. That is the most memorable one. That's the problem with Roppongi 3K. They're never bad. There's, the floor is high for them, but in terms of memorable moments, there aren't that many that spring to mind. Could I, tell you the difference between any of their Super Junior Tag League wins? No, I couldn't. It was kind of mushed into one in my memory.
Yeah. They probably had better 6-man tags with a random heavyweight partner. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, all the teams that they've had mini feuds with, they're all good. Nobody's knocking them as a bad tag. By no stretch of the imagination are they a bad tag team. They've been around the block a few times. And you're right. There isn't really something where I would be like, yeah. Like you can have an argument. I mean, this is maybe a bad argument to have, but you can go through the roster and be like, okay, it's easy for certain guys where you can pick out their best top 10 matches or whatever, and it's a personal choice. But it's not. Yeah, it's like, okay, yes, they had a great feud with Kanemaru and Desperado. Yes, they've had Young Bucks feud. Yes, they've had. Who else? Who else?
Shingo and Bushi. Or was it Bushi and Hiromu? I think they've had good matches with both, actually.
Yeah, those were great. Great. They were good. They were very good. I think everyone's excited to see what else we got in store for those two. Let's put it that way. We've been waiting. We've been craving it for years.
Andrew says, if you had to run a bad podcast, which of you would be the show and which would be the yo in the dissolution of the Super J-Cast? And that is my question.
What do you mean if run a bad podcast?
when I was watching this turn, the moment where Show is standing ringside and just sort of gesturing towards Kanemaru and Desperado, I'm like, yeah, no, you go get on with it, beat him up. That made me think of me letting you tell your jokes and not saying anything.
me dying on a vine. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know. I'll be the yo. I don't give a fuck. Yo's underrated.
Mutually assured destruction. We both just go out in a blaze of glory.
Right. We're both Rocky Romero.
Both throwing ourselves through the barbershop window.
Yep.
So let's cycle back to the Super Junior Tag League. Sorry, Esther's in the room with me now. She's throwing sanitary towels at me. So
well, of course.
Apologize if I'm distracted. They grow up so fast these days. Yesterday, I just want to talk about the main event. So the Super Junior Tag League came down to Kanemaru, Desperado, and El Fantasma and Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah.
And it was Kanemaru and Desperado who got the win and defeated the tag champions. 21 minutes, 4 seconds. And it was Kanemaru who got the win. He got the schoolboy on Taiji Ishimori. Very creative finish. I liked it. They sort of mucked around with who was the legal man, which made me laugh. Because as if the legal man has ever meant a fucking thing in New Japan tag title matches. But there you go. That's what they ran with. And I thought it was a nice moment for Kanemaru, who, pure babyface now, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, just like we all predicted.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really good match. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the two teams had good chemistry. And I see we're going to be getting an upcoming challenge from Kanemaru and Desperado, but I don't think they're going to win. I think Ishimori and ELP are going to keep the titles because they're going to the US soon, and so is Taguchi. So what I see in store for the future is Ishimori, ELP feuding with the mega coaches, Rocky and Taguchi, stateside over those junior tag titles.
Again, all the talent's coming over here. They know where it's at. I don't know if I'm excited about that, Joel. I'm going to be truthful. I don't know if that's going to make ticket sales jump. But
I know, but the mega coaches are good. I think they're a really good tag team, Rocky and Taguchi, and very underrated.
Yeah. You excited for that? Here's the thing. It's different. We've seen it before, but in short spurts, right? I think we can all stomach a little bit more Taguchi and Rocky, right? Well, you got no fucking choice because that's what we got. So that's it. Seriously, think about that. That's where we are with this when it comes to when we come to the June. I'm getting this message here. Oh my Lord, guys, gals, people! I just got the cutest picture. Joel, baby Esther sitting on his lap. Oh, look at that.
She's playing with the microphone. The headphones cord. She's having a great time with that.
I noticed something about you, Joe. You wear a lot of tie-dye.
This tie-dye shirt was sent from my sister from New Zealand.
Oh.
I have trouble throwing away T-shirts. I don't like to throw them away because they have sentimental value for me.
I like the way she looks at the camera like, what the fuck is in your hand? That is good stuff. She's adorable. My God.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Listen.
We're getting Esther run-ins. First it was Scampy, then Gutty, and now it's Esther.
So you, man. I run a professional shop in this house. I'm like, you don't say a fucking word.
So that's where the turn's going to come. You're going to attack me for all my unprofessionalism and animals and kids and wives doing run-ins. So there you go. Spannerhead says, if Suzuki-gun regain the titles, do you see the Flying Tigers being the first challengers? Would be nice to see Tiger Mask get potentially one last title match. That is my question. I'd like to see it. He's been really good. So my general thoughts on the tag league, I think is, again, it's surprisingly high floor. Everything's been good. I think everyone's worked really hard. None of the matches have been bad, actually. Wato's been good. And Tiger Mask, I want to single him out for praise because he's just come back very strong from his diverticulitis. He looks better than ever. I thought he's been very, very impressive during this junior tag league.
Yeah, he's for a guy that had half of his intestines removed, it looks good. Look, it's Tiger Mask. Let's not fucking do cartwheels here, but he looked good. He looks good. Listen, I'm trying to find some energy here at 8:28 and I haven't had dinner yet, and I'm talking about Tiger Mask. What do you want from me, right? Come on, Joel.
Louis says, I feel like this year's Junior Tag League has been a mess. Has there ever been a double forfeit in any New Japan tournament before? Yeah, there's been COVID protocols and worries that have meant certain matches have been pulled. Am I losing any sleep over Dick Togo and Gedo getting their matches pulled? No, I'm not. I'm actually quite pleased that happened. Not that they were bad, but having 2 matches to watch instead of 3 is absolutely fine by me. I'm okay with that. I think the tag league, despite it being pretty cold and having no buzz, I think it's been good. And I haven't regretted watching it. I think it's been fun. So there you go. My thoughts on the Super Junior Tag League. Should we do a little bit of G1 talk before we get out of here?
Do whatever you want. We could do some G1, answer some questions. We could talk about Erasure, the psychedelic furs, whatever you want to do.
Buddy Landel, we got to talk about.
Shit.
So firstly for the G1, Kevin Kelly is going to be flying over to Japan. Unlike some people, going to be providing us with live English commentary. So Kevin is the man. Very excited about that I'm going to be able to watch English commentary. That's going to make a huge difference for me and a lot of fans as well. I think a lot of people, if there's no live English commentary, people hand wave stuff. So I think this is going to make a difference. Flynn says, any thoughts on who might fill all of the gaps in the G1 this year? And that is my question. Biased Chiefs fan says, how many juniors do we get in this G1? Hayden says, how excited are you for G1 and what are your expectations going into it? And they predict a Cobb versus Naito finals. I think that would be great. I would love that, Cobb versus Naito. I think that's quite a good shout, actually. I would go with that. And Jason says, with Ospreay, White, and Ishii in question mark, I don't think Ishii is going to miss it. Missing the G1, what even is the point? They should run it in America. And Chuck Sizzle says, who will fill out the rest of the G1 with people like Will J, etc., not competing? Does New Japan bring in other Japanese promotions for their own Forbidden Door thing, so to speak? Sorry, that was my alarm for the water. I need to change the water barrels. With a lot of American-based talent, I kind of think New Japan could do an American world block and a Japan-based block, and the winners meet the final in Tokyo. That way they would need fewer people to get into Japan for less time. It's a nice idea. I don't think they're going to do it, though. I don't agree with the sentiment that, just move the whole thing to the US, because this is New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's a Japanese company. The core fan base is in Japan. And however cold that product might feel to Western fans, that is where they make the money. And they cannot just pull the plug on the fucking Grade 1 Climax and move it to America because some Western fans think that would be more exciting. It's not going to happen. For whatever people might say, the New Japan is still able to bring in thousands of fans in the middle of state of emergency to come and watch these shows. So there is demand for it there. It is still popular in Japan. So we are going to get the G1 in Japan. So let's not go crazy here. We've got people to fill out spots. Great O'Khan obviously is going to be in. Chase Owens, we've heard, is going to be in at this point. It could be Show, who knows? I don't know if they... I think it would be exciting for them to bring in talent from other Japanese promotions.
They might.
They might have to. I'm racking my brain. I don't think Hinare can come because of the way things are in New Zealand. I'm not sure anyone can leave the country at the moment. So I'm just sort of doing the mental maths here. So
can I put a little level of excitement here? We got open doors all over the fucking place here in the States. We can't open a door. And it's not like we haven't had people from Noah or All Japan or other promotions that have been in G1. Again, things are a little different. New Japan had a lot more to do with Noah. I get it. Trust me. But it's, again, the idea of other people being in G1 is not a wacky concept with New Japan. Why not? This is if we're going to do it, this is the year, right?
Okay, give me a name or two then. So if you could pick
from Jake Lee, Kenta Miyahara,
Go Shiozaki,
Nakajima
again.
Fine. There's
Keiji Muto.
No. But it would be great for them. Bring back Ricky Choshu, why not? But you get my point, though. Like you could do this. Now, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying they could, and this would be a year where I would have less problem with that. And again, we're not having a total, half of a bracket filled with guys that aren't New Japan guys. I don't think there's any need for that. One or two spots, just to
stick to the numbers. So we've got Juice, Ospreay, and Jay White missing. Right. I don't think there's anyone else.
Well, God, but we're not going to count that.
They weren't in it last year. I'm just thinking from last year, who was in it last year, who's not going to be it this year, and I think it would reduce Ospreay if we're taking his word for it, and Jay White. So that's 3 spots to fill. So we've got Chase coming in, Great O'Khan coming in, and then if we're going by that, that's just 1 spot to fill.
Yeah. And again,
could put Kojima in there. He's been given plenty of stuff this year. It's not particularly exciting, but you could do it.
Yeah.
But I would prefer to get an outsider, and that would be fun. I think that would inject a bit of buzz into the G1.
Again, there's absolutely no reason why that couldn't happen. I'm just trying to think. Sorry for my. Who's Tai Chi's in it?
Yes.
Okay. Okada's in it.
Yeah. I think everyone who was in it last year, apart from
I think Yujiro's in it.
I think he's got to be in it at this point. I don't want him to be in it. I would quite happily have him replaced with someone else, but I just think they seem to be a bit thin on numbers right now.
Cobb's in it. Zach's in it. Sonata's in it. Kenta's in it. Evil's in it. Why not? Come on. Give us that would be fun. Just a fucking imagine the pop. Just a different face. They could do it. They definitely could do it. I don't think they will do it, but they could do it.
Can we hear your story about Nature Boy Buddy Landel?
Oh, Jesus. Well, I feel like you know the story already, so I feel like I'm telling it to an audience that already knows it. I mean, it's out of context, too, so it makes it a little bit weirder, but...
Would you want to save it then? And should I just slide it in when there is context?
Tease it?
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I was... all right. What the fuck? Who cares? I mean, it's not, I don't even think it's that great of a story, to be honest with you, but...
It's just we promised last week. I'm quite coming around to the idea of just making it an ongoing bit where every week I bring it up and then we manage to worm out of it somehow.
Right. I don't think it's that big of a deal in the sense of I'm not bothered by it. I just thought it was just like a weird story that I was just like, wow.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what, I want to know whether or not you've told this story on the podcast before. So let us know, listeners, if you have heard the story before, then tweet us. And if nobody tweets us and nobody's heard the story before, then we will tell you the story next week. And I'll set it up in context and it'll be great.
Right. And if you want to hear it. And if you want to hear it. Like if you want to hear it. Right. If you want to hear it, I'll tell the fucking story. But again, I feel like I'm overhyping it because I don't think you tell me, is it a good story, Joel?
I think all your stories are good. And yeah, I do like this one and I think it's worth sharing. But executive decision, we're not doing it this week. You're not getting the story this week.
Okay, there it is. We need feedback from you. Do you want to hear Damon's Buddy Landel story where things got a little out of hand in a locker room?
Sounds like one of those fanfics that I got in trouble for reading last year. All right, let's just do a few questions then. If you are hungry, you want to eat your dinner.
I'm starving. We're past that point, my friend.
Well, okay,
so give me the questions. Give me the questions. Now, give me good questions. Come on,
Damon. There's hundreds of questions here. So
give me 5 questions. Let's do 5.
5 questions. So Shingo Star says, "Does the disappearance of
this sucks?
Does the disappearance of Gabe Kidd confirm what we've all suspected, that some young lions are used solely to harvest new body parts for Tanahashi?" That is my question. Well,
Gabe Kidd, apparently.
We haven't seen him since a long time ago. Yeah. We haven't seen him for months.
I haven't seen him in a while. I wonder where he could be. I hope he's all right. I hope he's okay. I haven't seen him in a while. Boy, that's a real vague. I don't see. Here's the thing. Like, I don't want to. I'm going to make an executive decision, and we're not going to go there because it's someone.
Well, I mean, people can draw their own conclusions.
Draw your own conclusions.
Someone who's been wrestling, on a nightly basis for the company, suddenly disappearing for months at a time.
Yeah,
it doesn't take a genius to come up with some theories about why that might be.
We'll leave it at that. That's good. There you go. And we want to see him back. He's one of our favorites.
Yes, and they need him, definitely, because
they sure do.
The Japan-based dojo is just looking very, very thin on the ground right now. Infinity says, Joel's praise for Rocky on how he's able to spotlight anyone's strengths, make anyone look good regardless of the match result, and improve Strong's booking. Reminded me of Jushin Thunder Liger. Not all dojo graduates have this underrated skill. Do you think Rocky learned this from Liger?
I think he learned it from everybody, just his many years in the ring. And, he's been around the block a few times. So, he's obviously a great student of the game. And he's able – see, here's the thing, too. You could be a student of the game, but not be able to translate or transfer what you've learned to other people as a teacher – and also to utilize that to help people get better. Liger is cut from that same cloth. I would agree. I guess also, like, you get to a certain point in your career too, and I think with everybody, right? Don't you find that in other careers too, when you kind of have made your mark and you've made your name and you're comfortable with who you are and what you have, and you want to you take pleasure in seeing other people blossom, right? That might be younger, starting newer, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I mean, Rocky definitely has that skill, and it's pro wrestling. You know, how many people can you name that have that aren't, dare I say, in the business for themselves, right? I mean, pro wrestling is a pretty shitty fucking industry if you're going throughout the years. And, you know, from every indication, Rocky's one of the good guys.
Yeah, very much so. And just whatever he's doing, just keep doing it, Rocky, because he's the guy we understand who's not just him, but he's the driving force behind it. And I think it's just been a rip-roaring success so far. Dan says, a couple of questions for hockey, Damon. Might be redundant by the time of the pod, as the draft is tomorrow night, so this is definitely redundant. Do you think the Kraken will come out with a better season one team than Vegas did? These unprotected lists are wild. Ron Francis has a great selection to choose from. And 2 thoughts on the Ryan Ellis trade. I think it's much needed addition to the blue line, but his injury history concerns me. Would have preferred Ekholm.
All these names that Joel has no idea like what he's reading is the best part of all that. So, yep, Seattle Kraken, first year, the Seattle franchise, Joel. Hockey season's right around the corner, so you gotta pick all this stuff up soon. Can they have a better season than Seattle? I mean, I think they make the playoffs with the roster that they have. Which was weird because they had a weird draft with their goalies, and I think they make the playoffs. I really do. So Vegas, their first year, Joel, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, lost, but again, their first fucking year as a franchise, they're going to the finals. I don't know. I mean, stranger things have fucking happened, as we've seen, but I will say no. I mean, Vegas fucking caught lightning in a bottle. I find it amazing what they did to fucking Marc-Andre Fleury. That was craziness. That's another story altogether. Flyers defense. Flyers had a great offseason. Got rid of a lot of salary cap, so they had a lot of room to make some moves. Ellis is a good, strong defenseman, and he can move the puck. He's they needed somebody with Provorov is really what they needed. They need somebody that anchor that side of the defense. Here's what they need. They need fucking people that can score. They don't have that. Giroux aside, who the fuck else is putting a fucking puck in the net? So they're going to win games 2-1. Only if Carter Hart has a decent bounce back year. And that's everything. I don't give a fuck who they put in the blue line. Carter Hart's got to have a better season. All right, we'll take your calls after this. It's Hockey Talk with Damon and Joel.
We're doing football talk now because Mild Urabora says Arteta out. We've had a terrible start to the season. We lost our opening game, as I expected we would, to newly promoted Brentford. Wow. We're just a mess, Damon. Just the way the club is being run.
What do they need? What do they need?
Everyone needs to leave. The manager, all the higher up staff, the owner, Stan Kroenke, they all need to leave and be replaced by the people who were running the club before they came in. I want Arsene Wenger back. I want David Dean back. I want all my old favourites who when we used to win championships and stuff. But,
is it a talent evaluation problem? Is it
our manager Mikel Arteta is a protege of Pep Guardiola, who has had tremendous success in his career. And what I think Arteta's doing is he's trying to emulate something similar to the Guardiola style. But the Guardiola style is a style that works because he has spent nearly £1 billion on the exact right players, bankrolled by the oil money for Man City, getting the perfect players who can execute that game plan to perfection and make it work. Arsenal don't have that. We don't have that investment. Our owner is Stan Kroenke. You may be familiar with Stan Kroenke. He doesn't like to spend money. He's using Arsenal as a part of his investment portfolio. He doesn't give a shit if we win or lose. So I think Arteta is trying to play a style that the current squad cannot execute. They're not good enough to do that. So I think rather than playing to what little strengths we have, he's trying to hammer, the square peg into a round hole. Just little things like insisting that we play out from the back, that the goalkeeper and the defender should be doing short passing to launch counterattacks, which invites a lot of pressure from the opposition because the attackers will close you down quickly and put pressure on you because you've got your goalie making short passes to the defender, which is asking for trouble. And our goalkeeper hates doing that. He's not very good at it. He gets flustered and puts defenders under pressure by passing to defenders who he shouldn't pass to because they're not in space, and that leads us to conceding a lot of chances and doing foolish things. I could just go on for on and on.
But is that the arrogance? Is that the arrogance of the coach to shoehorn this fucking system in?
Yes.
Yeah, we've had a few of those. Trust me, we've had a few of those. Let me ask you this: is that dumb dinosaur still the mascot?
Yeah. Yes, he is. I think they brought him back. We've got our first home game of the season this weekend against Chelsea. Okay. And I think it's going to be very, very ugly.
Yeah.
I can see us conceding a few early goals and the atmosphere getting really nasty.
My last question is Messi a fraud?
I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see that Paris Saint-Germain team.
Yeah.
It's like the Harlem Globetrotters. I want to see, like if you do it, if you play FIFA or Football Manager or whatever, you assemble, the greatest team you can, all the best players in one team. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm interested to see.
Is that much? Do I need to go out of my way to watch them?
No. I tell you what, I would wait until the Champions League kicks off because I think if PSG don't win the Champions League, then that is a catastrophic failure. Like they are hoarding all this talent for the sole purpose of they want to win the Champions League.
All right, I'll listen.
So I think that is when you'll see things either it will be make or break. So either they'll be incredible and it will be like this, footballing elite that's going to blow away the competition, or they're going to fail and it will be hilarious.
Right. Those are always good. Those are always fantastic. Who's winning Premier League this year? Who's top of the table, if you will?
I think Chelsea will win the Premier League. I think they've made some really strong signings. They brought back Romelu Lukaku, who I think is going to be a huge addition for them. They won the Champions League last year. They've got a great coach, Thomas Tuchel. And I just think Man City look similar problems to Arsenal, actually, in as much as they've got this style which ends up, you get lots of passing in a horseshoe formation around the penalty area, but not much thrust. They look like they really need a new striker. They really wanted Harry Kane. I don't know if they're going to get Harry Kane, but they're just looking like a lot of build up, but no cut and thrust in the final third at the moment. So I think, my early prediction would be Chelsea.
Now I'm curious, the life of Joel. Do you watch the games at a local pub, or are you watching these games?
Damon, everything has been closed here since like March.
Really?
The idea of going to a pub is just laughable at the moment. So,
really?
No pub.
So just sitting in your house.
I don't watch the Arsenal games anymore. They depress me because I know what's going to happen. I woke up for the England games because there was some chance of us actually being exciting and winning stuff there.
But don't you have a feeling of sense of this is my team? I got to watch it. If they're going to go down, I'm going down with them. Again, you're not going to be one of those maniac supporters that, but do you have a sense of, I got to watch this?
No, I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to watch us lose 2-0 to Brentford. It's not happening.
3 a.m. But you watch them on delay, right? You can watch them on delay, right? You mean to tell me you don't know of like a football torrent site that you can't fucking watch?
I could, but why? It's not. It's
because you're stealing money from the Premier League. That's what you want to do. That's your goal, Mr. Anarchist.
It's the time investment. That's 2 hours I could be spent playing Persona 5 on my PlayStation.
That's a good point. That is a good point. All right, give me one more question, and then I got to get some the fuck. I got to move furniture in this office that I'm in right now. I had originally floors to be installed on Saturday, but that got fucked. And but I got to move. Like I work at this desk, and it's like I got to move all this shit. And here's the thing, Joel. It's set up perfectly. Like everything's working. Like nothing is It's like everything is working perfectly. Everything's set up perfectly. And now I got to disconnect everything. I got to move this shit out of this office. So when the guy comes over to fucking install these floors, and I have to work tomorrow. And I'm just dreading tomorrow because nothing's going to be where I know it is, and it's going to take me 5 hours to do what would normally take me 1 hour to do. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. So give me one more question. I'm going to eat my dinner. I'm going to jerk off and then fucking wait for tomorrow. All right.
Sounds wonderful. Perfect evening. Brad from Piss Jeans says, was wondering if Damon checked out Andy Bell's.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I've had this one in the hopper for a while, actually, so I apologise, Brad, for not getting to it sooner. He was wondering if you had checked out Andy Bell's album, The View from Halfway Down, that was released last year. It was one of Brad's absolute favourites from last year. Wasn't sure if you were a fan of Andy Bell's or...
I am a fan of Andy Bell. I'm a fan of his work in Ride, one of my favourite bands. I saw them in Philly when they came a couple years ago. It was wonderful to see them live. And, of course, his work in Oasis. I have not heard that album, but I definitely... Oh, what a thrill! I wonder if they're playing live anywhere. I told you, like right before COVID, they were playing in Philly. I was like, oh my God, I might just go see them. Fuck. That's great. I'm so glad. Well, maybe, listen, tell him to fuck. You have, Joel, if he hits you up, you have absolute permission to give an email address or what have you. I would love to hear from him. It'd be wonderful.
Okay, great. I'm glad you're excited by that one. I was quite
it's
chuffed
fantastic
when he reached out.
Yeah, fantastic. I haven't heard the album though, but I will put it on my Spotify to-dos for this week. So I'll have a full report next week. How's that grab you?
All right, so dinner time for Damon, breakfast time for me. redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast if you want to give us some money, show appreciation for what we do. The Discord link is in the show notes to join us if you want to get involved in the discussions and the live event spoiler zone. Very fun. At Cobra Kawaii and prowrestlingtees.com/Super J-Cast to get one of our great t-shirts. A big thank you to editor Dan. Find him on Twitter at LousyHero219. Subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network for other great wrestling-related shows. Please give us a 5-snake review on iTunes and some kind words, which helps us move up the rankings. Follow us on Twitter at the Super J-Cast.
There are a lot of choices when it comes to car shopping. Only Kelley Blue Book is your trusted resource for one-stop car shopping. Have confidence to price it, buy it, fix it, trade it, sell it, and love it when you KBB.com it. It's as easy to say as it is to use. Kelley Blue Book is the #1 most trusted third-party automotive site. So no matter what your it is, be empowered to nail it at KBB.com.
With equipment breakdown coverage from American Family Insurance, you can protect all the things that keep your dream home running, from sudden mechanical or electrical issues. Because this sound shouldn't mean... Contact your local agent or visit anthem.com to learn more. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Refer to policy for equipment breakdown covered losses, deductible limitations, and exclusions. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin. Products not available in every state.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and goodbye.